Good morning, my dear students. Today, in this video clip, I want to explain about the experimental study of photoelectric effect. The experimental study of the photoelectric effect. Now, what is photoelectric effect? Already you know this one. That is Hertz observations and Hall-Watts and Leonard observations. Now, according to Hertz observation, what is photoelectric effect? First, I want to explain that one. When a suitable frequency of light is incident on suitable material, then the electrons are emitted from the surface of the metal or that material. This is called photoelectric effect. Now, emitted electrons are called photoelectrons. Then that these photoelectrons, they constitute the current in the circuit. That current is called photoelectric current. That is already I have discussed about these points. Then what is Hertz observations? When a light is incident on the material, then the electrons in the atom of the material, it absorbs the energy and it is overcome from the attractive force of the nucleus, and if it is sufficient energy given to that electron, then electron is come out or liberate or emit from the surface of the metal. This is Hertz observations. Then what about Hall-Watts and Leonard observations? When a light is incident on the material, the atom gets absorbed the energy, the electrons are emitted. Photoelectrons are emitted. There is a minimum energy, there is a minimum frequency. Below that energy, the electrons are not emitted. The electrons are not emitted from the surface of the metal below that minimum energy. Above that minimum energy, the electrons are emitted. Now, whatever the minimum frequency of the incident light, below that frequency, there is no emission of photoelectrons. Now, this is called threshold frequency according to that Hall-Watts and Leonard observations. Now, in the Hall-Watts and Leonard observations, at that time he defined that is the work function. What is work function? That is the minimum energy required to liberate or emit the electron from the surface of the metal. This is called work function of that material. That work function usually measured in electron volt. What is 1 electron volt? How you define this electron volt? It is the amount of energy gained by an electron when it is accelerated through the potential difference of 1 volt. This is definition of electron volt. Now, according to Planck's theory, whatever the light is incident on the surface of the metal, but according to when that Einstein adopted that theory, that radiation is the light. At that time, light it consists of discrete packets of energy. These packets of energy are called photons. The quantum photons, quanta photons. Each photon energy E is equal to h nu according to that Einstein. Okay. Now this is the mu is the frequency of the incident light or incident photon. Now observe this visible, ultraviolet and infrared radiation. I have to take that is 3 types of electromagnetic radiation. Now it is from infrared to the ultraviolet light. This is the increase in the frequency. Increase in the frequency, it means there is the decrease in the wavelength. Once increase in the frequency, what is the meaning of this one? Now IR rays and visible rays. Visible rays are more energetic compared to the infrared rays. Then you come to the ultraviolet light rays. Ultraviolet light is more energetic as compared to visible and infrared radiation because according to the frequency. Ultraviolet having more frequency, therefore more penetration power, more energy according to this Planck's theory. That you have to know this point. Okay. Now, the material which emit the photoelectrons, when a light is suitable frequency light is incident on this material, then this material is called photosensitive material or photosensitive substance. How do you define this photosensitive substance? The substance which emit the photoelectrons, when a suitable frequency of light is incident on it, that substance is called photosensitive substance, photosensitive material. But all the materials are not photosensitive material. For example, this is a plastic. Now its light is incident on this one. The photoelectrons are not emitted here. This is not a photosensitive material. Now suppose this is a metal. When the light is incident on this metal, the electrons are not emitted. The photoelectrons are not emitted. It do not show any photoelectric effect. Therefore, this is not a photosensitive material. Few material or substances are photosensitive substances or photosensitive material. This is about a photosensitive material. Now see, photosensitive material, they emit the electron for particular frequency of light or particular light. For example, few of them they emit the photoelectrons for visible light, and few of them they emit the photoelectrons for visible light. Once you remember that point, those that emit the photoelectron, the photosensitive material, that minimum frequency, that frequency is called threshold frequency. It means ಹೇಳೋದ್ರ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು, ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಫೋಟೋಸೆನ್ಸಿಟಿವ್ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಫಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆದರೆ ಫೋಟೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತದ, ಫೋಟೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ತದ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾವೈಲೆಟ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ತದೆ. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾವೈಲೆಟ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ತೋರಿಸ್ತದ, ವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಲೈಟ್ ತೋರಿಸಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾವೈಲೆಟ್ನಾಗ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಐತಿ, ಅದರ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಲೈಟ್ ತೋರಿಸಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಲೈಟ್ಗೆ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಐತಿ, ಅದು ವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ಫೋಟೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಎಮಿಟ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾವೈಲೆಟ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಫೋಟೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಎಮಿಟ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಜಿಂಕ್, ಕ್ಯಾಡ್ಮಿಯಂ, ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೀಸಿಯಂ, ದೇ ಎಮಿಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಫೋಟೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾವೈಲೆಟ್ ಲೈಟ್. Now, alkali metals like lithium, sodium, potassium, cesium, rubidium, they emits the photoelectrons for visible light. ಅದರ ಅರ್ಥ ವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಲೈಟ್ಗೆ ಇವು ಎಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾವೈಲೆಟ್ಗೆ ಎಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ. ಬಟ್ ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾವೈಲೆಟ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಎಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಲೈಟ್ಗೆ ಎಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿನ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಅದ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಅದ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಲೈಟ್ಗೆ ಎಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ, ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾವೈಲೆಟ್ಗೆ ಲೈಟ್ಗೆ ಎಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವೆ. ಅದು ಅಲ್ಕಲಿ ಮೆಟಲ್ಸ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂದೆ ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಸೆಟಪ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ತಗೋತೀವಿ, ಯೂಸುವಲಿ ಅಲ್ಕಲಿ ಮೆಟಲ್ಸ್ ತಗೋತೀವಿ. These alkali metals they are very good photosensitive materials or substances. Okay, now this is about that is a photosensitive material and photosensitive substances. Now we come to the experimental study of that is said to be photoelectric effect. Now see here, in the case of experimental study of photoelectric effect, now see here, this is the evacuated glass tube. This is said to be evacuated glass tube. Now it is provided with a quartz window. Now S is the source of light. Then emitter, photosensitive material. It is the emitter or said to be cathode. It is covered with a photosensitive material like usually alkali metals. And this is the anode. Anode are said to be collector. Anode ಇನ್ನೊಂದು word ಏನಂತೀವಿ, collector. Cathode ಇನ್ನೊಂದು word ಏನಂತೀವಿ, emitter. It emits the photoelectrons. Now the cathode is mounted inside the evacuated glass tube at the one end, and anode are collector which is mounted inside the evacuated glass tube at another end. It is evacuated, it means it is create a vacuum. Vacuum, it means there is no material medium inside the glass tube. That is you said to be evacuated. Now this cathode is connected to the commutator, to the voltmeter, rheostat and the battery. And this anode which is also connected to the commutator and the milliammeter and you said to be battery. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಕ್ಯಾಥೋಡ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅಂಡ್ ಆನೋಡ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಕ್ಯಾಥೋಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ವಿತ್ negative terminal. Now with respect to that is anode is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. Anode ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಟರ್ಮಿನಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಕ್ಯಾಥೋಡ್ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಟರ್ಮಿನಲ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಇದನ್ನ ಯಾಕೆ ನಾವು ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಟರ್ಮಿನಲ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಫೋಟೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್. Those which are emitted from the cathode, they are collected by the anode here. Therefore, we have to take this anode is connected to the positive. Before going to the explanation of the experimental study of photoelectric effect, one point you have to remember here. What is that? Remember. That point is remember. Now see here, what is the intensity? Intensity. How you measure this is the intensity of light. Intensity of light is this one. Intensity of light. Now the light is incident. It means the photons are emitted. Incident here. Now this is the intensity is said to be I1. Now see here the number of photons. Suppose you said to be 1000 photons per second. Now on the material, photosensitive material, this photosensitive material, the light is incident on the photosensitive material. For example, 1000 photons per second. Another time, this is the incident photons about 5000 photons per second. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, 1000 ಫೋಟಾನ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾವ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಡ್ರಿ. ಇಲ್ಲ 5000 ಫೋಟಾನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾವ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಡ್ರಿ. ಇವಾಗ ಇದ್ರ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ I2. ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ಲೈಟ್ I2 is greater than intensity of the light I1 here. It means more number of photons are incident on the photosensitive material in 1 second. The number of photons, more number of photons incident per second. Okay, more number of incident, it means more intensity. Less number of photons are incident on the photosensitive material, it means less intensity. This is said to be more intensity. This is the more intensity compared to this intensity. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫೋಟಾನ್ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ತವ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವೇನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾವ. ಇನ್ ಐಡಿಯಲ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಒಳಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಾವು the light is incident on a photosensitive material. It is a battery. Now it is connected to this one incident. Now photoelectric effect takes place. It means the photoelectrons are emitted here. In ideal conditions, 1000 photons are incident. Photons are incident. Definitely there are 1000 electrons are emitted here. One photon ಗೆ ಒಂದು electron emit ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ಫೋಟಾನ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಎಮಿಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ ಹೇಳ್ರಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದ 1000 ಫೋಟಾನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ 1000 ಫೋಟೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಎಮಿಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಾ ಹೇಳಕತ್ತಿರೋದು ಇನ್ ಐಡಿಯಲ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಯಾವುದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಸೆಟಪ್. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಸೆಟಪ್. ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟಲ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ಸ್? ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್.